Let's keep it going, though. Because now you got to ask the interesting question coming into 2022, right? Based on the signings we've seen, based on what we've seen the Bears do, I'd say in the draft, right? A lot of long plays at the end of that draft. A lot of this is going to take a couple of years to develop plays at the end of that draft. I'd be surprised, right? Other than maybe Braxton Jones, if any of those linemen came in and instantly were just like, nah, bro, there's a reason I fell in the draft. It's because they didn't like me. I'm still gonna dominate NFL competition out of nowhere. But you do got to ask the question. As you're talking about the Bears in 2022, are we talking about a season where the Bears have a full slate of picks where the Chicago Bears could be tanking? The pettiest man in the world. Ooh, that camera looking crispy today, my boy. I see you coming through clean out here, my boy. Pettiest man in the world enters the building, Mr. P Kid. In the chat, what's good with you, kid?
What's happening? How's the mic sound?
Sound good. Sound good.
A little under the weather today, but I'll tell you what, I don't think we're tanking. I wanted to make sure I came in on the right topic. You were on a roll on the last one. I was like, I gotta let him have that one. I saw you cooking. I was like, gotta let him have that one. What's good?
It just kills me when Muzz are just like, oh man, like we can't believe in Justin Fields. It's like, why would he come here if he thought the quarterback sucked? He was on a team where the quarterback didn't suck.
I don't believe that we're tanking. I think Pose is making the most of his situation. I was very critical of his second round picks because I felt like he should have went offensive on one of them, O-line or receiver. I still maintain that stance. I'm not switching up on that. I like what Velus shows on the highlights, but as a lot of professionals would say, if you're only watching the highlights, you're not watching the real game. You're really not watching the football. But that's all we have to really go off of, So at this point, I think we really just have a bunch of placeholders. I'm not going to say placeholders. We have a bunch of young talent that we can absolutely build with.
I think you had the first word right. I think not to say like the rookies they brought in, but I think you had the first word right. Like you saw what Poles did this offseason.
Yeah.
A lot of short contracts. A lot of contracts that probably will not be back in 2023. And I think that's why you could be talking about the Bears. Not to say tanking's tough, right? Because tanking means like, hey, we're going to win 2 games.
We're not the Jaguars out here.
This team's too talented to win 2 games, even if they just failed.
Dog, we won more than 2 games last season, and we didn't look good.
That's the thing, right? Like we stumbled into 6 wins.
Yeah. Our defense alone has always gotten us at least 4 wins. That's always been our hallmark. We've always gotten that, right? Now, I'm not saying that that's where we should, be hanging our hat. I'm not saying that that's what we should be doing moving forward. But at least we know that we've always had a decent defense. And the moves that Poles made, we still have a really good defense. While I don't like the picks, I can't say the people he got aren't good.
Yeah.
He got some studs in that second round for the defense. I can't hate on that. I just felt like we needed to do more on the offensive end. But our defense is going to be good. And this isn't like the I hate comparing sports like this, but this isn't like the NBA where, a lot of these players will come in, they're going to start, if you're drafted in the second round,
they don't have no choice.
Yeah, second round players are immediate impact players. First and second round, well, really first 1 through 3 are immediate impact players. A lot of those times, those players are plugged in that they're played almost within a relatively short amount of time. Yeah. So, hey, this ain't the NBA. Like a second round player has to work his way up. Second round in NFL, you on the field. Depending on your team, you on the field. And in this case,
you
a lot of the things that we got, they're gonna be on the field.
Yeah.
So I think this is really where we get to see what I like what Brianna just said, the process of it all. And I'm here for the process. I just want to make sure that Chicago's here for the process. Because I've said it once before, we are a hard team. We are a hard city to play for because we have no patience. We really don't have patience. The Jordan era has clouded us so much that we think we got to win now, and we ain't won nothing in ever. Like, come on, dog.
I mean, you got to think about how dominant the 90s were for us, dog, as sports fans in general. Like Sosa and the Cubs, kind of. You had, well, that was in the 90s, really. But I mean, the White Sox, the Bulls, the Bears, the Blackhawks made a Stanley Cup. Like everybody was good. So like I see why it's clouded a lot of Chicago, but that's a long time ago, yo.
Bears, dog, we made the Super Bowl with like half of the ball, like WTF. Like we didn't know what was going on one half of the ball. Like what's your favorite play for Rex Grossman?
Oh, you talking
five-step drop?
Oh,
don't even look.
The five-step drop, no look, turn around, throw that mug up, intercepted.
Man, throw that straight up in the air. Hey, I have to go find that play. I thought you was exaggerating.
You thought I was joking, didn't you?
That man looked back,
bro.
Said, "Huh." I was like, God dang.
You thought I was joking? Nah, bro. 5-step drop, no turnaround look, just launched it. It's like
he needed to do a Kyle Kuzma no look pass. He needed to look.
Hey. he tried to do the Pat Mahomes before it was cool. But no, I just feel like, right, with the Bears coming into this season, right, I can't say they're now tanking to me is like intentional. But what I can say is that Ryan Pace probably realized that this team isn't very good. He probably realized that this football team, where it's currently at, isn't going to be a very good football team going into next season. And he's making picks based on that. He's making plays based on that. These are a lot of the guys he believes in are long-term moves, which are unfortunately the young guys on the team. You're probably coming into this thing with 40 of your 53-man roster being 1 to 2 year players. I mean, Roquan's going to be the vet on this team. He's been in the NFL 4 years. Like he's your vet on this team. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Robert Quinn. But other than that, right? Like you're talking about a lot of these guys being, hey, we got to figure this out now. We have to figure this out for next season because next season we've got a full slate of picks. We've got a ton of stupid money. And we need to know what pieces we're keeping around and what pieces aren't going to be around next season. Byron Pringle, everybody's upset about the signing of Byron Pringle. He's here on a donut deal. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's here on a donut deal.
Couldn't resist, huh?
Couldn't resist.
I looked at his stats last night. I want to make sure I saw this right. Nope, I didn't see that right. Never mind. Thought I was going to go somewhere. Thought I was going to give him credit. Well, 500 yards as
he's the fifth option on that team.
Fifth option?
It's not bad. The thing is, the thing about Pringle is he's one of those guys where you're giving him a flyer this season to see, hey, you looked good when you were this option. What can you look like when you're moved up in the depth chart, when you're number 2?
Hey, I got to tell you this. He only had 42 receptions last season, 568 yards.
How many? He only got passed to like 62 times, though, wasn't it?
So when you compare all of that, his average, yards per catch is freaking high.
Yep.
And for him to be the 4th, 5th option and still have 5 touchdowns, I think we may have to put some more respect on his name. Than I personally may have to put some more respect on his name.
I'm not upset by Pringle. I think Pringle's a good name to have here. Here's the thing. You're trying to figure it out as you go. You know what I'm saying? This isn't, oh, we know what pieces we got in this mug. This is, we hope the pieces that we have in the building are good right now. We hope the pieces we have in the building can play right now, but guess what? They might not. Tevin Jenkins might not be good. That's a real possibility there, Bears fan. You know what I'm saying? So I could see why the tank and tank is really just the word to use for lack of a better term, right? Because like there isn't a way to me that I see that the Bears find a ton of talent outside of this offensive line is good. And I think that that's the difference in Justin Fields' development. with this offensive line being good. And here's the thing, that's going to dictate whether they are tanking or not, right? Listen, I'm sure the Bengals probably went into last season getting like halfway through and were like, we can't beat the Bears. We in trouble.
You know,
People
I don't
forget we beat them.
Yeah.
And we looked great against them.
Echo on me?
I don't hear one.
Chad, are we good on the echo? Let me know. I don't think we're tanking for the simple fact that we still want to attract talent here. And for some odd reason, I don't get that Pose is the type of person that will go through tanking. Like realistically, I know that this is the talk, and I know that that's what we do, and this is part of what we, part of the job. But I say this: there is no benefit for us to tank right now. There's no benefit for it.
I mean,
realistically,
top draft pick. I mean, the NFL is so different. Where like,
I got 150 M's next year. I don't need to tank. I'm gonna spend money anyway.
You got 150 M's. You can go pay somebody serious and get a top draft pick. The thing is, the 150 M's is gonna be there no matter what. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like But
Chicago can't afford to tank. We can't afford to tank. Our fan base will kill. Like, listen, I hear everything, and I understand that there's a process, but the difference between Philly and the difference between Chicago is Philly has been through. I mean, Philly's happy if you make the playoffs. Philly's happy if you they got one championship off against Brady. I don't think they have any NBA championships. I mean, they're a city that's like, hey,
Dr. J got a ring. I tried not to laugh on it, dog.
All right. Dr. J, what was that, 79? I wasn't even a thought.
It might be that longer because I
wasn't even a thought.
I know it wasn't in the 80s.
I mean, outside of AI, the last time they were relevant before then was Charles Barkley,
Dr. J.
You know what I'm saying? Like that market right there, big market. It ain't Chicago.
No,
they don't have the same expectations. They don't have anything like that. We can't afford to tank. We really can't. And so, with that being the case, I don't think we're tanking. I think this is a development year, but I don't think it's a tanking year.
82, that's right. It was 2 years before Barkley got there. It's interesting, right? Because to me, it depends on. Shut up. It depends on. It depends on what the Bears are able to do, right? Because the players can dictate it. A tank usually isn't decided day one of the season, unless you're that god awful bad. Like the Jaguars last season weren't expecting to tank. Then they got 3 games in and they were like, Trevor gonna need some help.
You know what? The funny thing is, Trevor could still. It's all about situation. Trevor could tank.
They got him some help this season, though.
Yeah, they got him.
You can't tank coming into this year, right? Because you spent a lot of money. You got him some help.
Yeah.
You got him an offensive line. You got him weapons. You got him a lot. You can't tank this season. Last season was a tank. Last season when they got into year 3, and then you got what's his name out here at the club with Shorty. He out here wilding. The head coach is out here wild. There was some reasons to tank last season. But here's the thing, right? The team dictates it. Philly didn't believe in Jalen Hurts coming into next season until they had a top 4 offensive line to finish the season. Washington didn't believe they were going to be going far last season until they had a top 6 offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive line is what's going to make the difference for Justin Fields in this situation, especially with all the weapons. You think Bill thought year 1 of Mac Jones he was going to the playoffs to play against the Bills? But he knew, hey, look, I don't know if this kid can play, but I'm going to put some big bodies in front of him and make sure that he stay upright so that he can deliver the ball.
People sleep on Mac Jones. Mac Jones next up, dog.
Mac Jones in a great system, and he's got a coach that understands, hey, if I put these fat dudes around him, they'll keep him off his back. And even if he's mediocre, he can still throw the football.
You know what? This is all about Justin at this point, but there are some things that Mac does that you really just can't teach at that level yet. Like you can't teach a rookie some of the things that he walked in knowing, and he knew it, and he commanded the offense and stuff like that. If you hear how the players talk about him, a lot of them say, hey, it's like seeing time all over again.
And look, I love it. I love it. But it's his life was made easier by not being on his back.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I think I
don't begrudge him for that, by the way.
No. It's how you're supposed to build a football team. That's what I'm trying to explain to people today. You don't want to see Justin Fields come out here with a poor offensive line. I don't care if he's good or not. You traded up to get him. The biggest sin of Ryan Pace, whether you believe he's the answer or not, is that he didn't put nobody in front of Mitch to keep him upright. Mitch ran for his life for 4 seasons. I don't think with protection, Mitch is a good quarterback, but I can tell you what, without